You just stop talking over me. How's
Okay.
that? So
Well, you just read what I read to you. So this is why I'm frustrated.
So here's the ecliptic.
What I read to you.
Stop unmuting yourself, fucking childish.
I'll do whatever I want.
So here's the local sun from our observation and the regular 15 degree per hour fucking rotation.
If you move that whole planisphere around.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. As seen from the center of mass of the solar system compared to the background abstract. So this is the ecliptic. All fucking local planetary bodies and wandering stars are on that. They change relative to the fixed fucking stars behind them. Globe,
but as you spin your planisphere, they all spin together, don't they?
They all spin together. You know why? Because
that thing is not correct.
Reference in Draco.
Because that's not correct.
Isn't that why it's pinned together?
So you just disproved your own thing you're showing there. Because those stars do move relative to each other eventually.
Do they?
Making that thing not useful.
No.
Not useful.
Space Cadet, they don't. So the sun moves slower on the ecliptic than the fucking stars do. The stars outpace the sun 4 minutes a day. You have inverted that. What we see from our observations is the stars outpace the sun. The sun will therefore go to the 12 different zodiacs, back to its initial point. Then we have another precession rate where it will go clockwise 1 degree per 72 hours. Or 72 years. That's how we entered the different ages. For instance, we're moving from the age of Aquarius or Pisces to the age of Aquarius. This is because of the precessional rate of the sun relative to the fixed fucking stars. And that fixed star, 15 degree per hour, is our proper motion.
Incorrect.
What the fuck are you on about?
Incorrect.
Oh,
you just read it. You just read it and then said the opposite of that.
Okay, but here, you've been denying the whole time, saying the stars change, and I'm saying it's the sun that changes relative to the fixed. And you say, nah, we have fucking Bernard star. And what I'm saying to you right now
is Bernard star isn't a star.
You can't fucking actually prove it's a star.
So that's called nah, Chris. That's called denial.
Is it a star or celestial object, Globey?
It's star or celestial object. Bernard star moves because all the rest of the stars are fixed in their position. We know that it's probably something other than a fucking star. Like perhaps
well, that's because it has to be, according to you.
Right? Well, if nothing else on this fucking chart,
doesn't even matter. The proper motion is not the 15 degrees of hour per hour of motion of the stars.
It's the 15 degrees per hour relative to the sun in front of it.
It's the other object's movement relative to the other distant stars. You read it yourself, then you change the fucking definition. It's embarrassing.
It's the fucking globe that changed the fucking definition.
You're reading the definition.
Slayer and Nikki, can you hold down the fort for a sec? And Jimmy, I guess. I don't know who's a mod here. I'm assuming one of you guys. I'm just going to run to the store.
Can one of you give me the big screen?
Not a fucking
No,
chance.
absolutely not.
Okay.
It'll never fucking happen.
It's really for Chris, but it doesn't matter if Chris sees it or not because he'll deny it 2 days from now.
Bro, you just denied fucking everything.
Oh, yeah, sure I did. These are 45-degree these are right 90-degree triangles, right triangles.
Yeah, I already showed you how this works when you incorporate perspective.
But you're wrong.
Why am I wrong?
I have to zoom in.
How does that work on a ball, first and foremost?
I'm trying to explain that, Chris. Trying.
How it works on a ball with that flat baseline.
Okay. So this is flat Earth math. If you're in New York, and this is the North Pole, this is the distance, you have 41 degrees to Polaris. Because you're at your 41 degree north latitude. Okay. Based on those numbers, you can calculate the height of Polaris. Use trigonometry. There it is. So now, using perspective, if I move back towards the equator, 69 miles, so I get, towards the equator, 69 miles. So I subtract 69 from that number, from here to here. I just made it shorter, 69 miles. That angle increases, because we're getting closer to Polaris. We're going towards the North Pole.
Crazy.
That angle increases. It should increase by 1 degree, but it doesn't on flat Earth math because
You're not
the relationship here,
the
relationship here is not linear. You think it is, but it's not. Right triangles don't mean linear.
Yeah, the right angle.
Yeah, I got 69 miles closer.
Fucking straight lines. Would you
It
agree?
should be 42 degrees,
Is a
and it's
straight
not.
line linear?
A straight line is linear, but the relationship between the angles and the distance is not linear.
Okay, and what can we explain that with? I
A
already
globe.
went over it.
The globe. 24,601 miles is the
Geometry
circumference.
doesn't fucking work.
Oh,
on
fucking
your globe.
shit. So explain to me why it doesn't work on flat Earth. That you were
We
wrong
can't
about the
have
linear
a
relationship.
curved fucking baseline and an opposite adjacent that is perpendicular.
This
with
is
the-
your math. Why doesn't it work? This is flat Earth math.
Oh, we already went over this. It's fucking perspective. Do I really need to?
This is perspective, Chris. As we get closer to the object, the angle increases. As we get further, it decreases. That's perspective. It'll appear closer to the ground or further up from the ground as you get closer or further. This is perspective. But as we get closer, it doesn't raise in the sky by 1 degree as it should.
Because you're keeping the fucking base. I mean, you're keeping the opposite of the angle, the same
I'm keeping the height the same. Well, certainly you're not saying the height of the star changes.
That fucking height the same, you moron.
You're saying Polaris actually gets closer or further from the ground as we move?
It apparently does, idiot.
Yeah, apparently, not actually.
Because you're not actually incorporating perspective when you show.
Oh my fucking God, I can't anymore.
Doesn't fucking change relative to your distance. That's what you're saying, right?
We've already gone over this chart. I'm not doing it again with
but
you. This is
what's
a globe
happening in
chart.
Reality. Why are you fucking freaking out, Glober?
Because this is a globe chart, and I'm not explaining this to you
Why are
again.
you still fucking arguing nonsense?
Because you're still fucking wrong. Go get your coffee.
Prove me wrong.
I hope it's Riza.
Prove me wrong. What we know is that Euclid's fourth postulate, all right angles are congruent. If we have a right angle at the 80th, the 70th, the 60th, the 50th, 40th, up, that would be equal to the vertical of Polaris. All right angles are congruent. Can't work on a fucking ball. There would be 1 degree tilt per 69 miles.
There is.
There isn't, because we don't have a mathematical formula to represent that.
Yes, we do. 24,601 miles divided by 360.
Okay,
It's the circumference divided by the degrees in a ball.
Okay, that's just pointing.
Very simple.
Oh my goodness. So I can take the fucking circumference and divide that by 360 degrees and fucking plot a point and put that fucking circle on a fucking geometric Euclidean
That's why it works.
grid and say, derp, it fucking works. But the
Yeah.
thing is, moron, you're not taking your angles of elevation from the center. Right? You're taking them from the fucking surface.
Yeah. You're taking them
We don't
from...
need to incorporate the fucking circumference. All we
Why
need
not?
to do is distance from Polaris, degrees from Polaris, and the surface. If we're at the 45th, that's 3,200 miles. But if you notice here, the 40 to there, it apparently drops. Why does it apparently drop? It's because of our relationship with distance and convergence. But
What's the math
this
behind that
right
chart,
angle-
Chris?
No, this right angle can't fucking work on your ball.
Chris, if you just take a line and fucking plot points that match a globe, you can't call it flat Earth. You can't call it flat Earth.
What do you mean?
You
We
took
need that right
the
angle.
actual. So those are latitude lines down there, right?
We need that right angle. Look, from the 45th.
Hold on.
degree.
Those are latitude lines, right?
Yeah. 80th,
Okay.
70th, 60th. They all have a corresponding angle of elevation to Polaris with a right
what's
angle.
the scale going up? I don't see a scale. What's that scale?
A scale. I've got it fucking marked out. What is this?
That's along the horizontal. What's the vertical
Okay.
scale?
Okay. So, well, I'm assuming 4,000 miles based on this.
You
Distance.
you did all this out, but there's no scale in the fucking thing you
There
drew.
is a scale, though.
What's the
talk
scale?
about the scale. So we know
What is
that
it? You just
this-
made that up, Chris.
Shut the fuck up. Look. 10 degrees. What's 10 degrees? Linear.
That's a degree.
10 degrees. That's 10 degrees. 690 miles. What's this?
And
If
how'd you
it's
get the-
equal, If that's equal to this, what the fuck would be the height of that?
I don't know. I'm asking you. What's the scale
10
going up?
degrees times 69 miles is equal to 690 miles. What would
According to globe math, again. That's globe math.
No, this is the apparent drop of Polaris. This isn't
Why?
globe.
How?
Because we're using a right angle. Because we're
Okay.
using the right angle of the object we observe. If we're at the 60th parallel, it has a right angle under Polaris. It's not tilting away from you 1 degree per 69 miles.
No, it doesn't have a right angle under Polaris. No, it doesn't.
Apparently drops.
No, it doesn't have a 90-degree angle above Polaris. That is the whole point.
It's not above, it's below. It's from Polaris to the GP of Earth.
That's not the GP. You're measuring up the elevation angle to Polaris on this chart.
There's the GP, center point of Polaris. Okay, when I take an angle of elevation from the 45th parallel
angle of elevation
to Polaris, I have my hypotenuse, my straight line point to point, my linear, 3,200 miles, and my vertical, which is apparent.
I just showed you that on my screen.
Okay, so
I showed you that.
It drops as we move away, just like we would expect.
In reality, it drops. In reality, it drops. You're begging the question by measuring Polaris and saying it works on flat Earth because I measured it.
Does the trees drop? What's happening to the trees? Are they dropping?
No. If you go to the 45th...
Those aren't dropping?
No, I'm not answering your question.
No, those aren't dropping?
They are, but not at the rate of...
They are dropping. Why are they dropping?
Not physically, according to perspective. Yep.
They apparently drop due to perspective.
Which is, but if you measured from the ground to the tree... If you measured from the ground to the tree, it wouldn't change, right?
Okay. It'd be
the same height?
We're right there. It wouldn't physically change, but apparently based on the relationship between distance and convergence, it apparently drops.
That's why when I did this before, you yelled at me that I kept the height the same. You yelled at me that I kept the height the same.
So we know that when you're incorporating perspective, the height will not fucking stay the same.
No, it doesn't.
Why are you incorporating it that way? Why aren't you using the inverse tan function?
Chris, you're obfuscating now.
No, this
height does not change. We just admitted that this height does not change, right?
Can we have in Euclidean geometry, can we have a curving surface?
Chris, how'd you get those fucking points? Stop beating around the bush.
It's pretty straightforward. I represented point to point as 690 miles, and the apparent drop we would expect at every 10 degrees of latitude.
On a globe.
Drops. On a fucking globe? What are you talking about?
How'd you get the angle using flat Earth math to plot that graph?
I just told you. Inverse.
No, you didn't. Do it.
You're obfuscating. You don't know.
You didn't do it. You didn't do anything, Chris. No, you didn't do fucking anything.
Geometry. Do you think
I'm showing you geometry and you denied it. You denied it.
No, you're showing me strictly Euclidean geometry, not incorporating perspective. This incorporates
perspective is fucking Euclidean geometry, Chris.
Oh, you're fucking donut. You're looking
as you get further away. As you get further away, look, this angle decreases. Change. Holy shit!
Doesn't change. Do we have a relationship that exists between the distance?
I'll show you.
We move away. Answer the question. Bring up your fucking pathetic triangle again. Show me why the apparent height isn't changing with distance if everything else apparently...
Because you're not looking at apparent. You're looking...
Bring up your fucking stupid cartoon again.
Yeah, here it is, right here. Okay. So I'm going to show you the apparent height changing.
Okay, so how much further have we went?
Okay, look. If you're standing here...
How much further have we went? Just fucking...
69 miles. 69 miles closer to the equator. Okay, or to the North Pole.
Cool beans. Okay, so now you have to tell me why you're not incorporating perspective.
I am. Watch. If you're standing here...
Because look... This is how you...
You just asked me a question. You're not going to let me show you?
This is how you incorporate perspective. Things get smaller in the distance, and we have a direct relationship between the distance we are from it and how it appears to drop to the fucking sky. So we're not looking at it like blueprints, like God looking at blueprints of this fucking geometry.
I'm literally... See those triangles on your screen? That's these.
Incorporating.
I'm showing you. I am incorporating them.
Honky shit.
Let me show you, and then you can tell me how I'm wrong.
How are you incorporating that? Please.
Let me show you, and I'll tell you how. Then you can tell me how I'm wrong. If you're standing here looking at Polaris, it's 41 degrees measurably elevation angle. Mm-hmm. Okay? If you get closer by 69 miles, that measurable angle should be 41.58. That's perspective, because now if you're standing here, it looks like, it hasn't changed height, but it looks like it's apparently higher in the sky by 0.518 degrees. It appears to have raised in the sky. That's perspective.
Silly? Are you
That's
silly?
Perspective.
No,
it appears higher.
Incorporating perspective. You move away and the thing stays at the same fucking height.
It is the same height. 2949, 2949. Okay. They're at the same height.
You're stupid. You just moved 69 degrees away from it. or 69 miles away. How can it be at the same fucking height? Obviously, you're not invoking perspective because it apparently drops.
It cannot be at the same height if you move away from
It
it.
can't be at the same fucking height, you donut. You're geometrically illiterate. 100%.
You're muted, Globy.
Fucking geometrically illiterate.
How okay. So simple question, and then you can tell me I'm wrong. Okay. Why won't my fucking camera work?
Just show
If you're
us
standing here and you look up at Polaris and it's 41 degrees, that's a number, 41 degrees. If you're standing here and looking up at Polaris and it's 41.58, would it appear higher in the sky?
appear. Yeah, sure.
Okay, appear higher, but it's at the same height. I just showed you at the same height.
But you've got...
It's appearing higher.
Okay, but this is the thing.
No, not because it's the thing. This is what you just fucking asked for.
Shut the fuck up. You don't understand. Once you change the fucking angle of one side of a triangle, it changes everything else. The distance, the fucking height, and what you do is fixate on the fucking height.
What?
And you imply that perspective doesn't exist.
What? It does exist. This is perspective.
No, because why doesn't the angular size diminish with distance? Moron.
What? It's 400 light years away. What are you talking about? We moved 69 miles closer to the star.
You're fucking hilarious. Okay, so obviously this is where you're going wrong.
How is this not perspective?
That's not perspective. That's strictly Euclidean measurements.
How is that not perspective?
Perspective. This is how it works. And we have a mathematical formula, and it's the fucking inverse tan function, figuring out the angle of elevation. It's pretty fucking straightforward, man. The fact of the matter is,
What's the math on that? Show the math.
You spiraled over that right angle.
I spiraled? Show me the math on how you created that without using 69 miles per degree. Go ahead.
I just fucking showed you. It's by plotting points on a fucking plane.
You plotted reality. So whether it's globe or flat, you can't make that chart and go, well, I made the chart, therefore flat. That's begging the question. Show the math and how you got to that without using 1 degree per 69 miles. Can't be done. It can't be done because I just showed you why it can't be done. It's not a linear relationship on a flat earth.
You are geometrically illiterate, not incorporating perspective. You're literally showing the blueprints of a triangle as if you were scaled to God size, and you weren't considering our small fucking perspective.
What does that have to do with anything?
Fucking hilarious.
What are you talking about? Can you just show me how you plotted that graph using flat earth math?
Yeah. So we know every single angle of elevation formula we have mathematically represented incorporates the angle, either one of these angles to the opposite side in the hypotenuse, correct? The law of sine and cosine?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we need the right angle.
Yeah,
and what you're saying is that, oh, this triangle, the fucking height is going to be the same regardless of how fucking far back you go, which is false because perspective happens. Perspective on everything.
Perspective no, hold on. Perspective is.
We have that right angle.
Wow, you're so fucking dopey sometimes, man.
Don't cry. We have that right angle.
You just agreed with me. That was perspective.
This is every single angle of elevation formula we have. What we notice here is that we have a horizontal distance and a vertical line from the horizon, perpendicular, right? Okay, so regardless of if you believe that it's tilting 1 degree per 69 miles, you do not have a mathematical formula to represent it. And what you said is, well, all we have to do is divide the circumference by 360 and we got our point on a fucking ball.
I'm sorry, are you going to get to where you showed me how you get that math on flat earth?
Angles of elevation. So we need a fucking flat surface. We need a right angle, and we need the vertical to be perpendicular for any of this to work out. So every single angle of elevation formula proves this is the only fucking way it can work out.
I'm sorry, were you going to show me how the math works on flat earth?
Why are you having a problem with it? Because you're not incorporating perspective.
I'm sorry. Were you going to show me how the math works on flat earth at any point during this ramble?
Yeah, right there.
Do the math. Do it.
Here's the math. The y-axis cannot tilt away from you 1 degree.
Another explanation. Perfect. Can you show me the math, please? I just showed it to you, so I don't know what you're going to show me. But
here's the math. Sine law. Corresponding theta angle, hypotenuse, and the fucking ratio that exists between the hypotenuse and the opposite side.
Can you calculate that for me,
opposite
please?
side needs a fucking 90 degree. If this was tilted away from you 1 degree per 69 miles, that would not be vertical.
Okay, so what?
Game over. Globe debunked.
Maybe.
You don't measure from a curve. You measure from a tangent to the Earth. Again, you just completely avoided the question.
From the tangent from the Earth.
Yeah.
Remember, I already got you earlier with this. I'm going to get you again.
No, you're not. You're. Can you show me the math on flat Earth? Please, for the love of fucking Christ. Because I did it for you and you claimed I was wrong. So please show us the math on flat Earth.
Wait, Christian now, Colby? You're a Christian now?
Can you show me the math on flat Earth, please?
Are you a Christian now?
Okay. So here's the math. Okay, we use right angle. We have to use right angle. What you just said is that we go from the tangent. So in your fucking, you just switched your position from the vertical must be tilted 1 degree per 69 miles to represent your fucking mathematical spherical model, to now saying, well, we're now doing it perpendicular from the tangent. So anything past a 45-degree angle would not even be measured on Earth's surface.
I'm sorry. Can you show me how this math works on flat Earth, please?
Yeah. So anything, it's pretty straightforward. Anything past a 45-degree angle, the vertical to the GP on Earth wouldn't even be on Earth's surface anymore.
If I'm
That's
not
great.
mistaken,
Can you show me how this works on flat Earth, please?
if I'm not mistaken, Euclidean geometry, when it's talking about the universe, always works out to be 0, which means that they claim that the universe is flat in Euclidean geometry. You have to add in spherical geometry to make it a sphere and manipulate it, or hyperbolic geometry in order to manipulate into hyperbolic. But in Euclidean geometry, it's my understanding that it always works out to 0 in the universe, saying that the universe is flat, so that we would be using flat Earth math.
Okay.
Am I wrong?
That's not what they mean by the universe is flat.
Am I wrong? Am I wrong? It doesn't work out to 0 using Euclidean geometry. Am I wrong?
That's not why we use flat Earth math. I don't. No, I'm not even addressing this topic. Can you show me the flat Earth math, please, Chris?
Now it's my math and not your math. So can you show it using without spherical math?
Ron, is one pile plus 1 pile 2 piles?
Nope, it's still 1 pile.
Exactly. That's why I'm not having a conversation with you.
Well, how many piles do you have? If I have 2 piles of salt,
no, I'm not doing it. Not doing it. Not doing it.
If I have
just wanted to prove a point.
Salt and then I combined them, how many do I have then?
Yeah, you have a
pile. Oh, I have 1.
Actually, it's 1 pile.
It's still 1 pile.
A pile is not a quantity, Ron.
Yeah, it is. It's 1.
No, it's not. You have to say I have a pile of what? Sand? A pile of what? Sand? Oh shit! I'm doing it. He fucking got me. I'm doing it. Chris, can you show me the flat Earth math, please?
He's getting so
Flat Earth math, no curve.
He got me. I almost did it.
A right angle won't work on a curving surface, and you can't prove me wrong. That's why you keep asking me. Oh, prove it.
You said you could do it. I showed you the math on flat Earth.
No,
you said I was wrong.
You didn't show me how it fucking works on a ball. And that's where
you're changing the question. I can show you that, but I'm asking you first.
I'm not fucking changing the question. I asked you right from the get-go, you glober donut, to show me how it works on a ball. And now you're demonstrating you can't invoke perspective, and you have a very fucking menial sense of fucking geometry. Very basic shit. Very fucking basic shit.
You think this isn't perspective, but I have a fucking misunderstanding of geometry.
Yeah.
You agreed that this would look higher. You agreed that this.
The conical equation.
You agreed that this would look higher in the sky for this person. Look higher, but not actually be higher. It's the same height on both sides. Appear higher.
Not actually higher, but it would look higher.
Look higher. That's perspective. Perspective isn't actually getting higher or lower, right? It's appearing higher and lower. Like your tree example before. So the trees aren't getting lower. It's appearing to get lower because the angle is getting lower as it gets further away, the angle of line of sight. This is perspective, appearing higher, not actually being higher. Perspective. Thank you. This doesn't work on flat Earth. It doesn't go 1 degree per 69 miles.
Work on a ball.
So again, if any of you can show me that this works on flat Earth, I'd love it.
Shut the fuck up for a second and tell me why you're incorporating perspective from God's side from the side. Because that's not incorporating perspective in
This is flat Earth math I'm showing you.
Man, don't deflect. Don't deflect now, pal. Don't fucking deflect.
Deflect from what?
Read that, Chris.
You're obviously fucking looking at this from a side profile. Not considering perspective at all.
Side
do you
profile.
think that you're God looking at the fucking triangle from the side?
Would the triangle be different if I was looking at it like down the triangle? What are you talking about, Chris?
What am I talking about?
Yeah, like if this was facing away from us and not sideways, it would still be the same elevation angle being measured. 41.58. You'd measure the elevation angle on flat Earth up to Polaris of 41.58.
Okay, and why aren't you considering perspective there?
This is this is what I mean with you guys. You're fucking you're daft.
At what rate?
There's something fucking wrong with you.
Shut the fuck up. At
Is
what
this perspective?
Rate? No, it's not, you dummy. So at what rate, based on 69 miles, should the fucking object apparently drop?
1 degree.
1 degree. And you're not incorporating that drop at all. Moron? Are you fucking stupid?
You mean I have to force the math to work or what?
What are you talking about?
How does it work on flat Earth? Why would I just make it?
I'm asking you to consider perspective. You don't consider perspective. What the fuck is the perspective?
Show me the math on perspective then.
Okay, got it.
I just showed you, but I'd love to see what you think it is. You literally agree that it would apparently look higher, but it's not actually getting higher. Not actually getting higher. It's apparently getting higher. This is perspective.
Okay, what rate on that? What does the fucking vertical drop over 69 miles? It
1
doesn't.
degree.
Because you're not incorporating perspective, moron.
What?
Does the vertical drop with your distance? I'm going to
Not
ask you
physically.
again. Not physically, but apparently it does.
If we're talking perspective.
Oh, when you incorporate perspective,
Which
the
I showed you,
height
yeah.
decreases. Got it. So for the last 10 minutes,
Not physically.
Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
Well, don't straw man me. Not physically, it doesn't drop.
Just shut the fuck up. Okay. Perspective.
Chris, it's okay to take the L. Just move
I
on.
asked you, donut. Why does the fucking tree appear to be lower? Well, your response was, it's not actually lower. It appears to be lower.
Right.
So
like
in
this.
your fucking pathetic triangle, looking at it from a side profile like this, right? You're not incorporating the diminishing of angular size or convergence to the fucking ground.
Yes, you
wanted
are.
the math. Here it is. Here's our fucking, we resolve based on what? In our eyesight, off the horizon. We
I'll
resolve
tell you.
at what? Here's the math, bro. We resolve at the horizon based on a 6-foot observer. I would say 0.02 degrees. Okay, we have a distance to the apparent horizon because everything converges at that rate, right? There's our fucking rate of convergence right there. Do you incorporate your convergence fucking rate at all into your nonsense fucking, because we have the
Just do it then for me, Chris. Do it.
fuck up.
Stop
Clown.
flip.
Shut the fuck up. So why didn't you incorporate convergence in your side profile?
I
If you're
did. I showed you convergence.
No, you didn't.
Yeah.
When does the fucking, okay,
Because
show me
watch
again.
convergence. Convergence
Show me again
as
how the height changes
okay.
with distance.
It doesn't actually change.
Change
You
the
fucking dingling.
height and you'll get the 1 degree drop, you moron.
But Polaris doesn't actually change.
It apparently fucking changes. Fucking geometrically illiterate. I swear to God.
Yeah, he need to take that out, bro. He getting angry.
And just fucking knowing how. Oh, it's a like, yo, what about a fucking triangle from the side profile shows perspective if he doesn't drop the apparent height of the object? Tell me, anybody. You got fucking cooked, Globy. Fucking cooked.
Hey, so is the sun
Location. Since you're sticking with the physical location, not the apparent location, you're not considering fucking perspective. Space donut for the fucking L. Look at all these fucking cheerleaders who can't. Okay, so all the cheerleaders, tell me why he used an absolute physical location while claiming perspective. But we know that things apparently drop due to perspective. How is he incorporating perspective while not incorporating perspective? Let's hear all the fucking explanations.
Robert trying to act like everyone loves, bro. It's like 5 people who actually agree with Globey. Like literally, like Jake, you, and I can name them off. It's really not that many, bro. It's so sad.
The height doesn't change. It apparently changes, which fucking Globey still doesn't comprehend. It apparently changes, and because he didn't apparently input that apparent change, he's not actually incorporating perspective, and it was that fucking simple to prove him wrong. Fucking space donuts for the L. I'm going to get my coffee now.
I've been waiting for a minute, but
Yeah, bro.
I got a good question I want to ask, bro. I got a good question. I think I found you and then this other guy, Mike, and I don't know, and I really don't care, but I'm invested because I kind of would like to learn. Bro, what is it to deal with the flat and level argument?
It's ridiculous. It's honestly fucking petty bullshit, and it's all based on context and ego. And I'm not even fucking getting into it further. So if it stays the same size, regardless of your distance, you're truly not incorporating perspective. You're lying through your fucking teeth, and all your globe cheerleaders are fucking too stupid to understand that. Geometrically illiterate, just like you. Yo, why am I getting so many fucking friend requests? Yeah, mad fucking friend requests. But yeah, it's basically level is flat, but flat isn't always level. And a lot of people think that fucking otherwise.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I really don't know. I'm trying to find out, but I don't know if you know Mike or not. I kind of agree with what Mike said, that Fred kind of getting crazy, and I think he is causing, a not fair argument about this, and it's, if he's wrong, it needs to be out that he's wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he won't admit that he's wrong. That's all the ego.
Yeah, and I don't know if he's wrong or not. That's why I wanted to bring it up without him being in here so I can get a casual, cordial discussion about this.
I tried going in the live yesterday, just like, who the fuck cares if it's wrong? What matters ultimately is the behavior, the attitude, treating everyone who doesn't agree with you as a piece of shit and fuck you, look at my fat fucking fingers. That's not how we fucking roll.
Son says it's not a lot of people. I don't know. What is a lot of people? I'm just saying, like, this thing's been going on, and I'm like, I kind of want to get to the bottom of it without it being so hostile, honestly.
Well,
Isn't that what you just did, Chris?
yo, Box, tell me why Globey wasn't incorporating apparent position. If we're incorporating perspective, why wouldn't the donut incorporate apparent position?
It does. When he moves back, the angle gets smaller.
Apparent position. He
When you
used
move
the
further
vertical
away,
height.
the angle gets smaller.
Just answer the question. Why didn't he incorporate apparent height if he's incorporating
He
perspective?
did.
No, he didn't. He showed a triangle.
The angle
and he
gets
kept
smaller the further away you
He kept
get.
the opposite at the same height.
Because it doesn't
That's
fucking
not what
move.
happens
It's
in
set
fucking
fucking
conversion.
height.
Can you show me anything that will appear to be the same height at 69 miles away? Can you show me fucking anything?
It doesn't appear to be the same height. The angle gets
So
smaller.
why didn't the donut incorporate
But
what
the
it
actual-
appears to be at that distance? That's what I'm asking.
Because
I
he
asked
keeps
him,
the
I'm
actual
asking you,
height.
if you don't,
The actual height. The actual height doesn't drop.
okay, so the actual height, meaning we're strictly using Euclidean geometry and we're not incorporating perspective. Good job. Good job, bro.
Angular resolution
It's
is
fucking flat
perspective.
smack Globy with what I was trying to explain.
Why doesn't the star change in angular size?
It does though. That's
You
what I brought
asked.
up.
You asked that question.
It fucking does.
Why
man.
doesn't it?
It fucking does. You're gonna not just
It
like
does
you
not. Polaris does not change in angular size from Canada to the equator.
It does based on what they tell us.
Who told you that? Who tells you that?
Convergent method, which I already brought up to flat smack fucking Globy. What's the convergent method in astronomy? What is this, a convergent method? The idea is that since all stars share a common space velocity, that's our proper motion, Globy. I know you're still just fucking frothing from the mouth. Common space velocity of all fixed stars, they will appear to move toward a common point of convergence, the vanishing point on the sky. This is essentially a perspective effect. The stars drop because of our relationship to distance to them. Cool. So if that happens,
that's
why
changing
the fuck
size in the
didn't
sky.
Goldberg
That's changing
go in
height
that
in
and
the
fucking
sky.
incorporate that?
That's changing its apparent position. Why doesn't it change in
so
angular size?
the apparent position changes. Globy didn't show the apparent position changing. He used a fixed vertical reference.
Yes, he did.
No, he used a fixed vertical reference, and we all fucking seen it. If you're gonna lie on his behalf, I'll fucking put you out right now. Did the vertical ever change?
No, because
No,
it doesn't.
good job.
The
Good job.
actual
So you proved that
object
he
doesn't
wasn't
get
incorporating
lower.
Perspective. Thank you. Flat smack Globy. Good job.
The angle got smaller, which is the fucking perspective you're talking about.
Okay, but we would expect the angle to get smaller the further away you move. That's simple shit.
Yes,
What
which
he's
changes
showing-
the apparent height in the sky.
Okay, but even on a fucking triangle, if you were to move that back, guess what we're doing? We're changing
On your
this
graph, you're saying that fucking Polaris is 69 miles in the fucking sky. And then it gets higher the further you go back.
What? It gets lower
Or the further you get,
back.
or closer you get to it.
Yeah, it gets lower the further you get back. So, moving cluster method. Do the stars converge into the horizon based on the perspective effects and the vanishing point? Does the train track appear to get smaller with the distance?
Yeah, but it doesn't.
So why didn't Globy use the apparent position of the fucking star? Answer the question.
He did.
He
When
did
we
not. He
get
kept
smaller.
he kept it at the same fucking height regardless of distance. He didn't use the apparent height. He
Because
didn't
it
use that
doesn't
would
fucking
change.
drop. The star doesn't move, Chris.
Oh my gosh. Fucking lying on his behalf. Let's fucking see what George has to say. What's up, Jorge?
Hey, Chris. What's up? So I just want to talk to you about angles. We do a lot of stuff with right triangles because it is convenient. But you do not need right triangles to talk about angles. If I represent two vectors, you know what a vector is, right?
Hold on. Before you get into this, I'm about to go for a coffee. What I need you to tell me,
Yeah.
you understand my point. If he was truly incorporating perspective, he would have used the apparent position instead of keeping the physical position consistent.
This is hyperbolic vision. The tangent function is your hyperbolic vision. And this, I don't know what Chloe
Tangent
said.
function. And it would be inverse tangent when we incorporate perspective with depth. Exactly like what I fucking told him, actually.
But
hold on.
I'm gonna look at the limit. I'm gonna look at the limit when H is
Get your
much
finger
smaller.
out of the way for a second. Thank you. Okay. Awesome. So did you just say that we have hyperbolic vision?
Yeah, because theta goes as H over D.
Hear that, Globy?
well, I mean, so I should say that the angles behave hyperbolically because everything you can get from a tangent function. But as distance gets much larger than this height, so as you make this very big, your theta approaches H over D, which is a hyperbolic function as a function of D. It's 1 over D. It's right. This is a hyperbola as a function of D. And more importantly, as D goes to infinity, this angle goes to 0, and that is convergence. So convergence is a result of hyperbolic nature of the tangent function because we see in angles. And speaking of angles, you can define the cosine of angle as the dot product of two vectors that have a unit length. So if I have
Okay,
two
where's the
rays that
opposite?
point out with one length, they have an angle between them. This is not a right triangle. This is just two random vectors that point in different directions. And if I dot product them together, which is this, you take their
I understand cosine. If we have the
That's it.
ratio.
So here's a
that
definition of cosine without a right angle. Just wanted you to see that so
it
that when
has
you
to have
argue
a
with
fucking
people,
right angle. Why are you fucking just monologuing, trying to steamroll?
there's no right angle there.
Cosine law is the ratio that exists between the hypotenuse and the opposite side of the angle taken.
No, so that is a definition of cosine, but this is a more
so you're
general
using
definition
the
of cosine.
law. We have to have an opposite side.
No, this is a dot product. So a dot product is a
It's a dot
fundamental
product.
operation that you can do on vectors form a system of numbers, if you will, where you can do different operations between them. And the dot product is one. This is length. So this is the length operation, and it is related to the cosine
In the
by
cosine
definition.
law, are we using linear or spherical cosine?
So when we do cosine law, I consider that a linear in the sense that I'm doing it on a flat surface. This is not done on a
In
curved
linear
surface.
cosine law, the ratio that exists on cosine specifically is the ratio that exists between the hypotenuse and the fucking opposite side. You need an opposite side if you're invoking cosine.
So
Good job.
here, Chris, you please don't take my word on this. Just go look up dot product. You will see a diagram like this. This does not require an opposite side. I have two lines. There's an angle between them. This cosine of this angle is defined by the dot product of these, which is just the product of their individual components. A vector can be written as components. Think of it as like north and east, if you will. This is the north component, east component, north component, east component. If you multiply the norths together and add to the east together, that sum and product is equal to the cosine of the angle between these two. There is no right triangle needed. There's no opposite side needed. This is a fundamental property of vectors, which is the fundamental, I would say, vowels that we use to do physics. Like this is part of the fundamental language that we use to do physics. And so you can do stuff with right triangles, but I wouldn't limit your thinking to just assuming everything has to be right triangles, because the cosine can also be defined with dot products. And you can go look up dot product. You don't have to take my word on it. And that's all I really wanted to say about that. And then the hyperbolic vision. I mean,
But dot products.
Yeah.
That's just showing you subtended angles based on the hypotenuse going indefinitely and the horizon going indefinitely and plotting the same points on that grade and that horizontal.
If you limit
now,
your...
shut up for a second, man. Fucking straight lying, geometrically illiterate fucking globers. I'm sick and tired of this. Fucking right angle debunks your fucking globe. So you're saying plot points, equal grades. That's a fucking ratio, right? We can have a 1-to-1 fucking slope. And we can continue to plot those points. But regardless, on any of those fucking points, the vertical forms a right angle. So stop fucking lying to me, Jorge. Stop fucking lying to me. I do not fucking
Chris,
appreciate it.
Chris, go back to your drawing, because I think we're agreeing here. So you're not your drawing, but your diagram. See the diagram there?
Plot
Exactly.
points.
Exactly.
Plot points. Okay,
Exactly.
so if we went point to point, they would all fucking form a right angle. Stop fucking lying to me.
But we don't
Jorge.
have to have the right angle, is what I'm telling you. If you expand your thinking to get rid of the notion that you have to be subject to the Pythagorean theorem, aka you're working with right triangles, you can actually expand and be more general, and you can have something like this, where cosine, where an angle is really a measure of divergence of two rays.
On
And
your plot point.
and you don't have to know the lengths of these, Chris, because
Look,
whether
you
this is a
one, you
million or
two.
one, you don't have to know the length. And this is a
Look,
fundamental
what I can
geometric
already
thing
see
that you're
from your
missing.
fucking pathetic diagram. You're
Yeah.
assuming the ratio, and then you're assuming, well, the right angle would be at 0.1 and 0.2. And that you can extend infinitely. So you have a fucking right angle. Stop telling me otherwise, man. I do